There was also a special girl in my junior high school class. She wore glasses, but her grades were not good. She was relatively tall, but her appearance was not appealing, perhaps dragged down by the glasses on her face and a few freckles. Some students in the class had been her primary school classmates, but these old classmates seemed to have no camaraderie towards her. They treated her like a goddess of misfortune. These few students believed that she was full of bad luck, and any direct or indirect physical contact would contract this bad luck, such as touching her or her desk. However, since they were in the same classroom, such contact was sometimes unavoidable. In this case, they would pat someone else with their hand, believing that this could pass the bad luck to that person. Almost at the same time, they would shout, "Lock it up!" Then they believed that except for the goddess of misfortune herself, the bad luck on others could no longer be passed to themselves. The above is a summary of their thoughts, or settings that I inadvertently studied through their behavior patterns. But since childhood, I have not believed in any mysterious forces, yin-yang fortunes, or anything like that. Precisely because of this, it took me a lot of mental knots to barely reach this conclusion. When trying to understand their ideas, many students, almost everyone else, were assimilated by what seemed like a subculture, or even a religious belief. Whenever someone found that someone had come into contact with the goddess of misfortune or her personal belongings, he would be the first to shout, "Lock it up!" and then others who reacted would follow suit. If the contactee was not discovered by others in time, the contactee would quickly look for a scapegoat, pat him, and shout the two-word mantra. At this time, it depended on the reaction speed of others, whether the person who was past the bad luck reacted quickly or whether other scapegoats around him reacted quickly enough to respond before the bad luck was passed on. Sometimes playful students would deliberately touch the goddess of misfortune and then pass it to the person they wanted to prank. The so-called harm others without benefiting themselves. They always enjoyed it. I would not participate in this so-called bad luck relay activity. Gradually, they found that when a new round of bad luck relay started, I would not shout the two-word mantra with them. So the unwise ones often disturbed me when they couldn't find the next person to pass it to. I would look at this person expressionlessly and then continue with my business. Then gradually they stopped passing bad luck to me. I don't know if they finally understood my disdain for this behavior, or if they thought that because I didn't send away the bad luck I had been contaminated with in time, I even began to become a goddess of misfortune in their eyes. But I didn't care in junior high school. I was the type of student who didn't study particularly hard, but had excellent grades. In school, good academic performance means a lot. Teachers will take special care of you. Your words will carry more weight than others. And as long as you are not too wrong, people around you will involuntarily follow your opinions. Classmates have to look up to you, and various halos will revolve around you until you feel dizzy. Therefore, I didn't care that there were a few guys who had little strength themselves and only knew how to find a sense of superiority in the weak, who had no power or temper and disliked me. But when I faced this problem, looking back now, I was still cowardly. Although I didn't help the evildoers, I never stood up for justice. The reason, perhaps, was that this goddess of misfortune was a girl. I was not good at handling relationships with girls. If speaking up for her led to a better relationship, I would instead feel a sense of panic. In the atmosphere of daily discrimination, her academic performance has always been poor, with no confidence and no friends. I don't know if the teacher was aware of such a situation at all. These classmates who believed in the goddess of misfortune never showed their belief in front of the teacher. I thought there was probably no possibility that she herself would report such a situation to the teacher, but her poor grades were clearly visible to the teacher. So our head teacher began to find a way. One day the head teacher adjusted our seats, and the goddess of misfortune was moved next to me. I heard her whisper to herself, "Now it's good. Liu Linky should be a good person." Those believers snickered and gossiped in private, saying that I was about to start being unlucky.